Hello and welcome back to the worst Warmachine channel on the internet. I'm Dorian, and this is another bonus Warmachine Weekly. Now, you might be asking, like, Malorian, you already did your Warmachine Weekly, you already did a bonus one this week. What's this all about? Well, it turns out I have a Patreon, and on that there, I have a top level, which are my overlords. So not only do they get to kind of like suggest topics and vote for what one I have to do that week, in addition to that, the overlords every single month gets to give me a topic, a Warmachine topic that I have to do. And so one of my overlords, David Doucette, this was theirs. Now, this came as inspired from a previous video I did when I was going over to Infernals. One of my buddies over there in Calgary, Brad, actually gave me some hot sauce, and kind of like as my, entrance into Infernals, I had to make my own deal and I had to have the hot sauce. It was a lot of fun. And so David was inspired by that and said, like, well, wait a second. So you're saying that if I do this Overlord thing, you have to do whatever I want? Hot sauce challenge time. So I have a list here of 6 Warmachine questions. He has set me up here with 6 different hot sauces. And I tell you, like I said, David's a local, David's a friend, but this is one of those friends that they're okay seeing you be in a little pain, right? If you slip on the ice and hurt your bum, they're going to laugh. And that's okay. It's good to have friends that'll laugh at you now and then. So we're going to see how this goes. Kind of giving some background here, like I said in that last Infernals one, I like hot food. I'm okay with spicy things, but there's limits to that, right? So, if I go and I make some, what I call like some okay spicy food, the rest of my family won't eat it. However, I know that only goes to like a little bit ahead of the normal public, because when I have things that are supposed to be really spicy, then they really hurt. And, so I'm not coming on here saying I'm invincible. And I really think that what he has here is going to be really painful. So we're going to see how this goes. I have some backup water and stuff. We'll see what happens here. But so what's going to happen is over these 6 questions, I'm going to read the question. I'm going to take some of the hot sauce. I'm going to answer the question. And by the time there, I should have felt everything from the hot sauce. So I'm going to give it also a rating from 0 to 10 on flavor and on just pain, because you would really hope that you're having these sauces because there's some taste to it. I mean, I can just like chew on razor blades. We can just go for pain, and then maybe that will give something to you. We're like, okay, if I want to think about these different hot sauces, maybe these are the ones that might be worth it. So with that, let's get this started. This is not going to be going well for me. So the first one here is the High River Sauce Rogue Scorpion Pepper hot sauce. And the question for this is, what are your favorite painted minis from each of your factions you own? All right, so I'll think about that while I do this. And this looks like it's just really like Tabasco sauce. So I'm guessing it won't be too bad. So we'll take a little bit of that. And this is also supposed to be in like increasing order of heat. And so this one, I can already taste it. It's having that quick little spice in there. If that's the weakest one, I'm in some trouble. But let's answer this question. So my favorite painted model from each of my factions. So right now, the factions I have are Cygnar, Mercenaries, and then I also have now my Infernals. Now for Infernals, the one that I've just finished painting now, I think the favorite one that I did is Zadaroth here. So Zadaroth is this one here, and it's not really overcomplicated or anything, but I just like how it kind of worked, where there's like that gray and black smoky dress coming up, the pink for the tentacles for the monster, the pink on the dress, the black headset, the yellow striking. Again, I'm not a great painter, but I like how that one turned out. For my Cygnar, which one do I like best there? That is a very hard question. I think that my favorite for that one, is maybe Old Rowdy. That might be it. I can reach that one. So Old Rowdy was just a fun model to paint, and it's one of the few models I actually spent the time doing rivets. And that's one of the things, like normally when you're painting something, you can easily go like do, but if you take time to do the rivets, and on like Old Rowdy compared to the other ones, it has a lot of rivets on it. that really makes it stand out, and it makes it really have a lot more detail. Again, I can't just do this on all of them because a lot of your jacks that you have there in Cygnar don't have a lot of rivets, but this one's a character, it has a lot, it made a lot of sense. And one of the things that kind of worked out too is like some of the shoulder pads I painted gold, and then over time from scraping, it was almost like its own like kind of like weathering that happened naturally. So I didn't even plan that, but now on the shoulders it kind of has that too. So again, it's not overall, if somebody was like to score this on like a quality of painting, it would be low. But to me, I just always like the look of this one, and I think you know, one of the ones where I was happy I spent time painting the rivets. Then we come to Mercenaries. I can tell you the one I hate the most. That's a fast one. Well, that might actually come up later. I haven't looked at all the questions, so I should answer them and then fix these as they go through. And man, I have a lot of Mercenaries because there is just so much from all the different factions and everything like that. Oh boy, which one? You know what? I think... Ooh... Could it be the Death Arc? Yeah, it's gotta be. It's gotta be. I think my favorite... I almost said a Thamurite Archon, but I think the Death Archon was my favorite. Now, back in the day, I played Legion. I did a lot of, like, black and red, and so I did that for the wings. So, again, as like a nostalgia, whenever I see this, I think of my old Legion. I'm like, yeah, that was awesome. But again, just like the gray cloak, the way that everything worked for these. I mean, not painting, but conversion-wise, I turn the sides around, and that makes me feel better when I look at it. Yeah, I think this is my favorite one for my actual Mercenaries. So that's the end of that first question. Let's now grade this Rogue Scorpion Pepper Sauce. So taste-wise, it was all right. I mean, it's a nice a chili taste. So I give it like a 6. You know, pain-wise, it's a little bit higher than I thought it was going to be for the low side, but it wasn't too bad either. I mean, if we're saying like Frank's hot sauce is like a 2, just to kind of give ourselves some room, I would say this is about a 4. So we'll start there. All right, going on to question 2. And for this one, it's going to be Mary Sharp's Pure Mango Habanero. And I have like a fear of habanero. Now, you know, like I have lots of habanero and different things, but back in the day, I made a salad and I put a lot of habanero in it because my brother-in-law was coming over. I wanted to impress him, was a vegetarian, and I thought I'd spice things up and put this in here. Turns out my brother-in-law couldn't show up, so I had like this big, huge thing of spicy salad. It was crazy. I could not stand it. I had to throw it in the garbage. So hopefully this isn't that bad. You know, this looks like with the mango, it could be one of those one that has like a high on the flavor, and that's what we're hoping. So either way, let's go and read the question. What is your favorite moment, event in Warmachine lore? Ooh, a lore question. Now, I am not like the perfect person, and I am like using a different spoon for each one too, just to make sure I'm not mixing flavors and stuff like that. But, oh, this one's kind of like chunky at the top. Let's see if I can mix that in. I don't want it to come out as just like one big chunk there. That's also another thing too. I got to make sure I shake this right into the mic so you can hear the shaking. All right, come on, come on, come on. All right. So, for this one here, let's take the bite first. Oh, PTSD. I'm already scared of what might happen here. All right, first impressions. Seeming pretty tame, pretty nice. Okay, now it comes in after. I should remember that's how habanero works. But, favorite thing in the lore. Like I said, I don't know all the lore, but I do know a good amount of it, especially from the stuff that happened in Mark II. So early stuff in Mark I, you know, I only know the stuff that really stood out to me. And so I think I'm going to give you 2 of my favorite lores. I'm going to give you a double one for this one. The first one comes from Mark 1 because, like I said, this is one of the ones that I heard about, and I'm like, yeah, like that's so cool. And that's in the battle between like Haley 1 and Denegra. So why shouldn't you say Haley 1? Haley and Denegra. And so basically Haley has like her jack come over and just like rip Denegra in half. And so you would think from a story that if someone gets like ripped in half, like that's it. they're dead. That's done. But then like understanding and seeing like Denegra 2, and this is where like now like the bottom half is like robot and all that stuff. Like understanding like how vicious this battle is between these two sisters. I mean, that's why Haley has like a robot arm from like the damage that she took and all that stuff. It just kind of showed like, again, how can like vicious the lore in Warmachine actually can be, and the fact that like, you know, when you think you're dead, you're actually just kind of fine. Now, talking about that, again, my first faction was Legion, and so when one of the first books came out and introduced a new caster, Callus 1, I was like, yeah, that's so awesome. I can't wait to see what Callus does in the story. And I'm reading the story, and basically Callus just gets his ass kicked and is killed. And I'm like, what's going on? But the whole thing, what they're trying to do was to kind of show off this idea that like Callus can regenerate. And so you can't regenerate unless you lose or take some major damage. So it was weird coming into a story, wanting to be pumped, like, yeah, tell me how awesome this new caster is, and I just get like killed and died. So yeah, you know what? I think I'll give you a twofer for that one question. Coming back now to ranking this Mary Sharp's pure mango habanero pepper sauce. Taste-wise, it was nice. The mango in there was very nice and pleasant. I mean, I would happily cover, you know, rice, whatever chicken I'm cooking with this. So I put that up at like a 7. This is really worth it for the taste part, and for the spice, you know, I put this one down more as like a 3. This one was not as spicy as the first one, at least to me. Again, you shake these things up, and some of these bottles are like half or more empty, so maybe depending on what came out, I'm not fully getting what the taste was in all these, but this was perfect, right? You want something with a really nice taste, and then, you know, you're not really doing lots of pain for that. All right, next one up, I'll confirm this is right. Okay, it says, yeah, so this is a organic one, and this is going to be a Chipotle habanero pepper sauce. And the question for this one is going to be, if you could make one caster from each of your factions friendly faction in a different faction, which 3 would you choose? So in each of these 3, pick one that can go somewhere else. Some of these are going to be pretty easy, to be honest. But let's get to the fun first. New spoon, new pane. Let's go. What's another one? Kind of chunky at the top. Maybe that's how it's like made. Maybe that's actually like hard plastic. Oh, okay. Just to make sure not too much comes out. I see what's going on. Which makes me also think that you're not supposed to be having that much of it. But we'll go for it. So we'll get a nice little splash in there. Ooh, got a bit of a mess. Just this means more sauce for me. And let's go. So, first impressions, a little bit of spice right away, kind of tapers off, nice taste, and we'll see how this hurts me going through this. So the one that's going to be the easiest is going to be, yeah, it kind of tastes like a barbecue sauce almost type thing. Now the spice is coming up. The easiest one is going to be the mercenary one, that if I could take Magnus 2 anywhere else, oh my god, I would be all for that. I love Magnus so much. Usually, the only thing that holds back Magnus is the faction. You know, the fact that I'm dealing like with these crummy mercenary jacks, they're only mat 6, and, you know, they don't really do very much. They're a little bit better now based on from when I first started playing them. But, you know, like, if I could play that in Signar and take, like, the elite jacks, whew, that would be so nice. I don't know how Magnus would work in Infernals, you know, that whole thing going over, I don't know. But either way, like, oh, man, if I had him, like, summoning things as, like, popping feet and upkeeping escort on my tormentors, I guess, yeah, that'd be fantastic. That is how that's supposed to be, right? Okay. Yeah, one caster to go over. The other one, I would say, let's say go now to the Signar. What do I want to be moving other places? I mean, Sturgis would be the meme answer. I love Sturgis. Like, I like the meme idea, and now that's how, like, strong it was, and, you know, people didn't believe in it. Anyway, that's, like, the one that's off there. But the one that I think I'd actually enjoy playing in other areas would be actually Haley 3. Haley 3 is kind of like good with anything. Hey, do you have a model with a defensive stat? Hey, let's raise it. Do you have warrior models? Hey, let's bring them back. Do you want to assassinate? Great, let's go and knock things down. So you can basically take Haley 3 with anything, and it'll do really great. I mean, I can imagine if I'm taking it there with my mercenaries, then my front line can actually be things like Kayazi or whatever I want and get like insane defenses going on. Over here on my Infernals, there's so much focus, which would now be essence, I guess? I don't know. That'd be weird how that kind of work. Like, would you want your echoes to die so you could resummon them and they have a lot more essence? I don't know. That'd be a weird interaction. But, like, having that defense just go up to be like Lamenter, Temporal Distortion, or whatever her thing is. So, like, your howlers in the front are now going from 12s to 14s to 16, and you're bringing them back to life between like the gate and her as well, and like all the friends. Yeah, that'd do really great. So I think that's what I do there. Infernals for other areas. I think Agathon would be the power answer, but I think the more ambiguous one that I want to have everyone, and ambiguous, that's not the right word, I don't know, would be Omodemos. So having synergy in like Cygnar and Mercenaries is something we don't get. We don't get synergy in those factions. So having that come over and being like, Omodemos, all the Buccaneers, let's do this, synergy time, let's go. That would be fantastic. I'd love that. If I had synergy, it'd be Lancers. Basically the Buccaneers of Cygnar, take all the Lancers, let's go, stab, stab, get rid of your Cortexes. It'd be wild, it'd be awesome. So that's the end of that question. Let's grade this Chipotle Habanero pepper sauce. Taste, it's like a normal barbecue sauce, so, that's like a 3 or something. It's not really all that great. I can see putting this on like meats and things like that. Maybe beef, if I'm like a stir fry or something. And then spice is a little bit more. So I put this one more up at like, I almost feel like it was not as spicy as the first one, but I'm going to leave it somewhere in that range. It's somewhere there with like a 4 or a 5. It's still, it's spicy. I'm not doing this and not feeling the spice, but that'll be that. Next one here, going on to question 4, is going to be El Yucateco Chili Habanero. Always with the habaneros. They know my weakness. And so that's this one here. It's green, so it's got to be scary. And the question is, what is your favorite moment, your favorite Warmachine moment from a game or tournament? Favorite Warmachine moment from our event? From a game or tournament. Oh, I know it. I know what it's going to be. Yeah. I was at first stalling for time and not preparing this because I thought I'd need more time to think about it. But as I gave it any moment of real thought, it was really obvious. So let's see how this one is. Again, the green ones, this is the only green one in there. And for some reason, green is always like the danger color. But anyway, let's do this. All right, initial impressions. Yeah, I can definitely taste the habanero, very strong. I'm guessing that spice is going to come late because it didn't start out. Yeah, here it comes after. So, and we'll see how this goes with me. So, for me, now it's really coming. For me, the biggest one here is going to be, at the beginning, I was not really overly competitive. I came into a meta where the Grots were the club here. They were already going out to, the States and like doing really well, trying to win tournaments. Extremely competitive. And so they would just come and just destroy us every single time. No chance whatsoever. Slowly, I started working up my skills. The normal thing of like lose your first 100 games. Working in and like finding where my niche was, working my way through Legion, getting into Cygnar, getting more into a spot where I'm like more of like the infantry player, doing a lot of Kane 2, and I'm like jamming and threatening assassination, but then really I just kill this heavy so that you can't contest stuff over here, going for scenario, and being in a spot where I was like starting to win a couple events per year, locally anyway, not any big cons or anything, and then we had our big Alberta Invitational. So this is where they look at everything from in Alberta, in our province here in Canada, take all the points from all the tournaments, and then the top 16 go into like an elimination bracket for the winners. And so I believe this was the semifinals that I was up against a local here. I don't know if he wants his name said, so I'll just say Andrew M, a Menoth player, so anyone local will know. And this one was close. This is a one where I got into it and it was grinding right down. It was getting to the last turns. Really great competitive game. And as we finished the game and it was done, I heard clapping. And I looked around and there was all these, I lost the game, but there's all these players from our meta standing around, including the Grots, and they're clapping for this great competitive game. In the semifinals, they came right down to the end of it. And so that just felt validating, right? The idea that, you know, I had worked so hard to try and be a competitive force, won enough to actually get to the Invitational, and even though I lost, kind of like earning this respect from my peers. So that was fantastic. I really enjoyed that. Of course, there's the ribbings after, like, oh, you should have done this, should have done that, but whatever. The fact that I got to that high level and got that applause, fantastic. I'm also going to do a twofer for this one as well, because I have to also mention this. My favorite thing I ever won was not for getting first or second. It was for being Captain Awesome. So again, the Grots, they run their own big event, or used to, and it was called GrotsCon. And at GrotsCon, the runner of that one, Cam, had this new award called Captain Awesome. And at the time, we didn't know what it was for. I'm knocking everything over. I'm breaking it. We didn't know what it was for. So we didn't know if it was like a best overall or how it was going to be. Is there going to be some like weird thing you do over lunch? No, it was whoever does the most for giving back to the community. And that was awarded to me. So like for everything I do with like the channels, arranging tournaments, being a press ganger, all these things, I won the first ever Captain Awesome award here at GrotsCon. And that, again, very validating, not from the competitive standpoint, but for the, you know, the community standpoint, for saying like, look, you do all this work, you're running all these games, it's always this positive energy, press ganger, go, go, go. And that just felt so good, and I loved it. So again, a twofer I'm going to give you. And I think I'm going to have this first sip of water. So now let's rank this hot sauce here. So the El Yucateco Chili Habanero, taste-wise, it's not really there. Like there's the habanero that splashes you at the very beginning, and then it's gone. So that's like a 2. Spicy is now getting up there. Like I said, this is now uncomfortable. So I'm now going to put that as like a 6. To me, like 5 is the limit where it's like, yeah, that was like, you know, nice. That's okay. This is like, you have to have the taste to be worth this type of a thing. So if it had like the what was it? The mango taste in this, I'd be all for it. I'd be like, okay, it's worth it. But for that one, that's probably not one I would ever get myself. Now I'm really, really worried about this next one, because we are no longer dealing with habanero, and we are now going into Fanbo's African ghost pepper. I have never had ghost pepper. All I know, and it said, oh, this is going to be bad. It even has like a little rating here, and it's up at a 12. So I've seen the videos of people having ghost pepper, and I know how bad and spicy and painful it's supposed to be. So I better save that water for that. And the weird thing is there's still one that's above this. And I can also see that this one is dusty and still pretty full, which makes me think that this one is so uncomfortable coming up next. And you can already see I'm getting stuffy from it. That, okay. Either way, I'm stalling the pain. Let's get into it. So the question to go around with this pain is going to be, describe your dream Warmachine event if money and real life weren't barriers, talking about things like location, venue, format or formats, and catering, the whole shebang. That's a lot to talk about when I'm in constant pain. Did you plan this, David? Did you make these harder the longer they go on so I'd have to talk more during them? Oh boy. So first time having ghost pepper. Oh man. And this one does not have like the small little thing there. So I could get a big splash if I'm not careful. And I don't want that. I want a dollop. Yeah, that's a dollop. All right. All right, so let's get into this one here. Question 5. Oh. All right, initial impressions. Painful right from the beginning. Not super, though. I thought it was going to be a lot worse. It ramps up very quickly, and then it tapers off. So we're going to see how this goes. If it's like a habanero, it's going to get worse and worse and worse and worse, or how it goes. But so far, it actually is not as bad as I thought. And I can already, though, feel it now. Now it's starting to go up. Anyway, so back in the days when I played like Warhammer and 40K Fantasy and all that stuff, the big tournament that always seemed so cool was Valhalla. So this was one where people would go off to like the mountains and be in this like getaway place, and you're just like playing things for fun. So there's just like silly games going all the time. There's not really big tournaments. It's just like fun gaming. Plus, oh, now I'm feeling it. Oh! Plus, there's a bunch of content creators, so they're making all these like silly videos, and there'd be like stories of like they're trying to steal this or whatever's happening. Okay, that's not fun. And so here in Alberta, we have our own models. We have our own mountains. So it could be in like Jasper or Banff. We could go there. And so as far as catering, I would just want like a buffet. You know, like go to a hotel there and just be like, keep the buffet open, like on a cruise, and we'll eat whenever we're hungry. I don't want to have like a break time for whatever. Be open all the time. And then the actual event is not going to be tournaments. It's going to be just like one big iron arena. Silly games all the time. Play whoever you want, whenever you want. And if you want to have some more randomness, there will be like some dice or a thing you can like randomly generate. It'll be like, you're going to play Who's the Boss? And here's this. Or you're playing this many points. Go ahead. Oh, you're going to be doing a 2 versus 2 game. Go ahead and do this. So, oh man. So that's what I would like. And that would be just really just go out there and have fun. Because that's what my favorite event would be. Not to be like, give the big trophy to the big winner at the end. Like, no. We're doing this hobby for fun. Let's maximize the fun and just make this thing crazy. So that's what I do. It'd probably be a lot of money. But like you said, money's no issue. So we're going to do this. I got to blow my nose. So I'm going to pause this for a second. You'd think that if I was a good editor, I'd cut out those 2 seconds, but I also want to make sure this is genuine, and you don't not just know, like, I'm like downing like 2 liters of milk between either. Ooh, he's questioned. All right, I am going to have some water now. So this one here. I don't know if the water made it worse. Finbo's African ghost pepper. Taste, there's nothing. It's like a 1. This one's all about pain. Like, you'd never put this on being like, this tastes good, let's have this. This is just pain. The last one I gave a 6. This one is definitely more. I don't want to go to an 8 because that's probably going too high, and I know things could be a lot worse, like that salad. But this is easily a 7. It's threatening an 8. No, I'm giving it the 8. It deserved the 8. It's going to get an 8 for that. Which now has me really worried. Because again, if all these things are supposed to be getting spicier as you go on, this last one should be crazy. So the last one. Oh, not another one. Dawson's Szechuan Ghost Pepper. Now, saying that's a Szechuan is good, because hopefully that means like there's some value here, there's some taste, but more ghost pepper, more ouch. And as I said, you can see there's a lot of oil on top. It's kind of separated. Usually you get like a lot of the spice in the oil, so I'm gonna actually want to shake that up good so I don't just get all the spice. But it's hard to tell because this has a lot of chunks of things in it, and maybe the spice is in this one and that, but more ghost pepper. So we're going to give this a try. And my mouth is still super hot from the last one. Question. Tell us why the trencher chain gun and the cannon crew are actually awesome, and any shoutouts to any other creators or content that you're working on. Okay. And then it says at the end, thanks for taking on this challenge, and don't forget the milk. Thanks for the pain, buddy. I wanted to read that thank you now, just in case this is so intense that I can't talk after. So, oh man. I thought there was dust. It's not really dust. There's like a wax seal, and just like the wax seal is like kind of separated, so it had a little bit a different look to it. So, okay. I wonder, okay. First of all, let's pull out over our buddy, the trencher chain gun. I have 2 of them. I always make fun of them, and I never use them. So let's talk about why they're awesome, and the cannon crew that I literally don't own. I was so, I'm going to say disappointed with it. I just never saw a time that I wanted to spend the points on it. So I never even bought it. So that's going to be harder. But I can at least say a little bit for this here. So let's do that. This is going to be bad. This is going to be bad. That first one had the nose running, the pain. This one is just, and it's already separated out again too. Again, I don't know if I'm helping or hindering myself. Usually the spice is in the oil. And so with it all being on the top, I feel like I want to like shake it up and like quickly go. Go, 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 go. Quick, before it gets worse. Or better. Again, I don't know if I'm hurting myself. And it's like... it's like oil that pours out and then like some chunks. all right, Dawson's hot ghost pepper or whatever, Dawson's Szechuan ghost pepper. We're ready. We have water. I didn't mention it, but since he mentioned it here, I do have some like emergency milk just in case this is like wild making me throw up hot, but because that's like what that salad was. But let's give this one a try. Last one was an 8. These are supposed to be in order of spiciness. Let's earn that money that I got through Patreon. All right. Initial thoughts. Boom, spices going up. You can taste that Szechuan. I like that there's some taste there. Heat is quickly ramping up. So let's see what... Oh, ow. Yeah, this one's spicy. Whew, not enjoyable. And I don't know if it's coming, like there's a chunks in there, and like the chunks are like stuck on my tongue. Get out of here, chunks. I got a show to do. All right. Why are they awesome? Well, they aren't. Well, that's a cop-out. The one thing that made me think about running chain guns, and not just one, but 2, was the idea that they have covering fire. Now, covering fire right now, or let's say like a few months ago or a year ago, garbage, right? There's almost no infantry. Nothing's going to happen. Let's go back to Mark II. Mark II, oh, this is painful. There is a lot of infantry that is low armor, 1 box. So you could actually defend your lines. In Signar, you could set up your gun mages, put your covering fire in the front, and just pew, 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 pew. There might be 1 or 2 jacks on the other side. Oh, this is bad. Oh. So, and then these, covering fire, the more I talk, the worse it is. We'll put down the covering fire and lets you shoot. If you could do it with other stuff too, it's even better. Oh, man. I'm not hiccuping, so it's not like 10 or 9, but whew, it is painful. And the good news is that infantry's coming back. And so the more infantry comes back, the more of these come back. And there's more terrain now than there used to be. So there's more terrain to abuse And use these with... Finish the question, then you get water, Brian. And so they might, in the new way here, have more of a game plan. Plus they're cheap and they're a unit. So if you don't want to spend points on a unit, there you go. You have the trencher gun. It's awesome. The cannon. It's a cannon. That's all I can say. It's garbage. Oh boy. Okay, let's rank this sauce. So the sauce was, taste-wise, better. Not as nice as the mango. And I might have given the mango higher. I probably should have given the mango, well, it wasn't super mango-y. This one I'll give a 3. It had something to it. But you quickly lost it because it's so hot. So, the last one, like I feel this one is like what an 8 should be. It's not like crazy, like I said, but it's super not enjoyable. So it was like, if the last one was an 8 on that gauge, this would be a 9. So maybe the last one should have been a 7 and this is an 8. But yeah, whew. It's working itself up. I might be saying it's a 9. But again, you know, it's not so bad because I'm not hiccuping or anything like that. But you know what? I'm going to give it. Okay, last one an 8. This one gets a 9. I'm going to get to this milk right away. So I'm going to get this outro all the way. Whew. Yeah, it deserves a 9. So there you go. Thank you, David, for your support. Thank you for being a patron on Patreon. Anyone else there, if you want me to do videos like this for you, it doesn't have to be hot sauce. It can just be whatever thing like you want me to cover. You can do it. Go down on Patreon. We can make it happen. Otherwise, thank you everyone for watching these videos. Thanks for watching all the pain. You're all great. Catch you later. Boy, this hurts. Bye.